everybody. This is Eric Stark with Radio Arizona RV. Today in episode number 62, we're going to be talking about RV deep cycle batteries and mainly about lithium-ion batteries. They're kind of the new battery that's on the market that's making sense. It's a good option if you need a battery or looking for a battery that's going to last 10 years or more. They're pricey, but they're well worth the money. So we're going to compare those to lead acid batteries, your typical deep cycle battery that's so common in RV stores. It's been around for decades. Pretty common battery. Again, this is Eric Stark with Radio Arizona RV, episode number 62. Before I kick this show off today or this podcast, this COVID virus is running rampant. Today is March 27th. It's about 6 in the morning. And Montana is just now on lockdown, so that means small businesses or non-essential businesses are supposed to be closed down. Everybody's supposed to stay home. All that's fine and dandy. We're going to work around this. We're going to work through it. We're not going to stop working. Man's got to work, right? Got to make a living. But it just kind of shows where we're at in the stream of time. Now that Montana is on lockdown, many other states are. They're faring through it. I'm not excited about any of this, of course, not only for health reasons, but just it's a general plague on society in a way. When people can't work, they can't make a living, they're just going to look to the government to support them. And that's fine if that's what you have to do. But we're going to work through it. And without saying anything too revealing, you can always call or contact us. You can go to Radio Arizona RV, use the contact page. Our phone number's there. Our email's there. So we're always available. We'll be selling parts. Our suppliers are still shipping. So if they're shipping, we're shipping. We don't even have to do that from our offices, our warehouse. We can do that from our home if we need be. Today, talking about batteries. Okay, there's one other thing. I just got to throw this out here. This is just the most humorous thing. For 14 years now, Arizona RV, which is my store that I had in Yuma, that's our name we go under. That's our corporate name, Arizona RV Parts. For 14 years, we've won an award for Best RV Store in Yuma. Isn't that interesting? We're not even in Arizona anymore, and we still win this award. We're in Montana, and we still win the Best RV Store for Yuma. But you know what else is amusing about that? Every RV store in Yuma wins that same award. And you know how you win it? They just send you an email saying you won. And for like $250, you can buy the award. It's a total scam, total racket. It's just humorous. I just saw that in my email this morning. Just had to throw that out there. Okay, now let's get back down to the nuts and bolts here. Everything you need to know about what we do is you can find at Radio Arizona RV, and there's a link there to all of our other websites. And I might mention slide topper fabrics. We are making those. From what I understand, we're one of the few right now that are making them and shipping them because of the shutdowns, problems getting product from China, wherever people are buying their stuff. Well, I know it comes from China. All your three major manufacturers, their awning fabric comes from China. Ours doesn't. It's made here in the United States. It's sitting on a shelf waiting for us to order it. And we will continue to make slide out awning fabric. So if you're having a hard time find one, give us a call. Check out our website, sunpromfg.com. Okay, now let's talk about batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are kind of the new thing in batteries for RVs. And, I'm not going to say they're taking over by storm, but they're certainly growing. It's becoming a bigger market. It's a more common type battery for someone to look at. They certainly have their place. A lot of people kind of shy away from them because of the price. You might be spending $900 to $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, depending on the brand of the battery, the size of it, to replace your regular wet cell deep cycle batteries or lead acid batteries. And that could be your AGM batteries too, whatever you have. I mean, you're going to replace them and they're going to be substantially more. But there's a big difference between these batteries. And, I sell Battle-Born lithium-ion batteries. I sell AC Delco RV and Marine batteries, and I sell Interstate RV and Marine batteries. I have experience with 3 different batteries. AC Delco and Interstate are lead acid batteries. The AC Delco are maintenance free. You don't have to do anything. They got the little green light on it. Tells you if the battery's good or not. Pretty straightforward. But the lithium ion are more money. But are they worth it? Well, it depends on what you're doing. If you're just going out for a couple weekends in a year, they're definitely not worth it. You're going to be spending way too much money. Unless you just have the money and you don't want to mess with your batteries ever again, because they have a 10-year warranty on them. You're going to get at least 10 years out of them. And the way they're talking, their expectations are much higher than that. 10 to 14 years. Some of that is going to depend on how you maintain it. There is really no maintenance, but how you take care of it. Do you abuse it? Are you charging it regularly like it needs to be? Or are you just treating these things like a wheelbarrow? You just don't care. There's not that much maintenance to them, but you still can't abuse a battery. But the lithium ions are also a tougher battery. These things, this is the way to go if you don't want to mess with your batteries. But they're definitely the way to go if you're putting in solar systems, if you're spending a lot of money, putting solar panels on your RV. You're going to have an inverter in your RV, so, you got your 110 volts all the time. Kind of depends on the system you're going with. If you're going with a high-end solar system, then lithium ion would be the way to go. You might be spending $2,000 or $3,000 more for the batteries. That's an upfront cost that after you've done that, it's done. And you're already spending thousands of dollars at this point putting solar on your RV. Solar, if you're putting in an inverter, a substantial inverter where it's going to run your 110 volt side, kind of depends on what you're doing. But at the end of the day, lithium ion batteries have been proven to be better in so many different ways. For one thing, they have more amp hours. There are 100 amp hour batteries. But a regular lead acid battery is, 78, 75, maybe 80 amp hours. So it's not a huge increase, but it's an increase that you can count on. Because a deep cycle battery, a regular lead acid deep cycle battery, over time it starts to degrade the quality of it. So it's not going to have the 80 amp hours in a year. It's not going to have the 80 amp hours in 2 years. It's going to keep degrading. It's going to lessen. Where a lithium ion battery, over the lifetime of it, it might degrade maybe 20%. So that isn't that much. And you're getting towards the end of the life of it where you see that degradation. It's not at the beginning or, the middle. It's towards the end. Where a lead acid battery, you can see that after a year. It's not going to be as good of a battery. In 2 years, it's not going to be as good of a battery. 3 years, if you make it to 3 years, the battery's on probably its last leg. Now, in some areas, these deep cycle batteries, or I should say lead acid batteries, last longer. Colder climates, you might get 3 to 5 years out of them. It just depends. But you still have a lead acid battery. You have to maintain it. You have to worry about it. You're always constantly thinking, I got to charge my battery. It becomes an issue. Just in those simple terms, the lithium ion battery would be a better way to go. But we keep breaking it down here. So you have 100 amp hours. How much does a lithium ion battery weigh? Approximately 30 pounds. 30, 31, 32, 35, maybe depending on the brand of the battery. How much does a lead acid battery weigh in the same size range? Group 27 lead acid battery weighs about 70 pounds, 75 pounds. Again, that's going to depend on the brand. Some of the Optimum batteries from Interstate, they weigh a little bit less. They're not as heavy, but it's still a heavy battery, so you're at least half the weight. Just for maneuvering it around, it's a lot easier. But also, it's just less weight that you're lugging around in your RV. If you have 2 batteries in your RV, you're going to be cutting out 70 pounds. That's like only carrying 1 battery now. It's much better in the weight-wise, the amp hours, the warranty, like I said, 10 years. And what's the warranty on a lead-acid battery? Well, AC Delco has an 18-month exchange. You can just direct exchange. If it fails in 18 months, you take it in to an AC Delco dealer and they give you a new battery. Now, that's pretty cool. Now, after 18 months, you're on your own. But for the first 18 months, you're covered. And Interstate, they changed their warranty recently. I can't get a definitive time when, but they did change it. And now they have a 12-month direct exchange warranty. 12 months, that's not 18. 12 months, so you got a 1-year warranty, basically. I don't think that's that great. Now, I've never really had a battery go bad in 12 months or 18 months. It seems like they're always after a couple years. But for others, batteries seem to go bad in the kind of the beginning of the life. And that's great, though. If the battery is 12 months old and it goes bad and you get a new one, awesome. The warranties aren't even really close. 10 years versus 12 months or 18 months. They're barely even on the same planet. It's such a huge difference. Like some of the products we make, a 10-year warranty on a sunshade product, and everybody else has a 1-year warranty, is huge. It's a huge difference. And then when it comes to battery, it's well worth it. That warranty is peace of mind for 10 years. And these companies stand behind their product. They stand behind their warranty. Like Battleborn batteries, like I said, that's the brand I sell. And I sell them because they're great people to deal with. They are very helpful. No question is a dumb question. They're willing to talk to you. In fact, they do answer their phone. A lot of companies these days don't even answer their phones. You can't call and ask questions. You have to email them. You have to message them through their website. And there's always a turnaround time, 12 hours, 14 hours, 24 hours. It's kind of ridiculous. But they answer their phones. And by the way, we answer our phones. That's what's cool about us. We answer our phones too. And we have a toll-free number. So you can call us for free and talk to us. You don't find that very much anymore, like I was just saying. So the warranty is something to consider. Now, a lot of lithium-ion batteries, I shouldn't say a lot. Some are made in the United States. Some aren't. Some are made overseas. And anything made overseas right now, it could be the same quality as a battery made here, like Battleborn batteries. But it's going to have a tariff on it. It's going to make it 10% more expensive. You might not see the tariff charge split out when you're buying it. You go to the store or order one online, you're not going to see that as a line item, tariff charge 10%. It's just built into the price. I've looked at the other brands that come from overseas, and every single one of them wants a 10% tariff charge. And even if the battery's better, you can't sell that because it's just a lithium-ion battery, and they all are pretty close to the same quality, but you do have to consider where they're from. If they're not made here, it's going to make a difference in the quality and warranty issues. If you have to warranty it, you want something made here. Things that are made overseas, and I'm not knocking any other country, it's just the nature of the business. Businesses come and go, factories come and go. In 10 years, that factory in China that's making the battery today might not be making batteries. They might be making latex gloves for the next big outbreak that they're expecting. They might be making women's clothing. Who knows? Factories in China change. They change in other countries all the time. They go where the money is. So in the lifetime of a lithium-ion battery, you're going to get about 270,000 amp hours. That's a lot of amp hours. You're not going to get that out of a lead-acid battery. You're going to be getting maybe 10% of that, but probably less. So you're looking at 27,000 amp hours or less. That's a huge difference. You spend the money up front and you get a rock solid battery that you can rely on, that you can count on. Now, not everybody has that kind of money to throw around. And as I said earlier, if you're doing a solar system, that's the way to go. But if you're a full-time RVer, lithium-ion, in my estimation, would be the way to go. You put the batteries in, you forget about it. Over the years, not only have I sold a lot of batteries, I've replaced a lot of batteries in my vehicles. And, your vehicle batteries, like your cars, trucks, they last 5 years easy in most applications. When we were in Arizona, even there, we'd get 3 to 4 years out of all of our batteries in our cars. And I always seem to own about 5 or 6 cars. So batteries are just like the bane of my existence. And that's, I know, not a lot of vehicles compared to what some people have. But, your ATVs, things like that, they all have batteries. Everything takes batteries. You find yourself just constantly buying batteries. But with lithium ion, you're not going to do that. But, the batteries just don't seem to last. And that's from my experience. And when I sell batteries, I like asking people how long they've owned it just to get an idea. And what I find is 3 years is probably about it. And that's even what the manufacturers say. 3 years. sometimes longer in cold climates. And the guy that's real meticulous about his battery, when he puts it into storage, he makes sure it's, charged up, and he's checking it throughout the off season. He's probably going to get a longer life out of his batteries because he's really paying attention to it. Most people aren't that way. They expect it to charge when they plug the RV in, when they're going down the road, they want it to charge. They maybe check the water level here and there, but they're not on it, making sure every time they use the RV, they're checking the water level. The battery's not going to last as long. And then it's that constant maintenance, Well, that's one cool thing about the AC Delco RV and marine batteries. And I say RV and marine because they're different than the automotive batteries, and they're definitely different than what comes in a GM product from the factory. These are good batteries, and they're maintenance free. You can put it in and forget about it. And I like that. That is cool, because who wants to screw around with a battery? And some batteries are really hard to get to. Even in the battery boxes, they're a pain. Those plastic battery boxes with the strap that goes over it, even those can be a pain. Not having to deal with your batteries is nice. For me, the AC Delco, if I'm going to put just regular lead acid batteries in anything I own, I like that. Maintenance free. Forget about it. You don't have to mess with that. That's what a lithium-ion battery is. Maintenance free. You can, in fact, with lithium-ion, you can mount them on their side, upside down. It doesn't matter because they don't have lead acid in them. It's a different process. Or actually, it's a sealed battery, so you don't have to worry about it. Nothing's going to leak. There's no issues whatsoever. And it's a newer technology, but it's also a proven technology like Toyota Prius. They have lithium-ion batteries in them. In fact, I have a Toyota Prius with one. It's the most interesting battery system I've ever seen in a car. It's complex, but yet it's simple at the same time. It's maintenance free. And then the Prius, you can replace cells if you need to. You don't have to replace all of them because it's not just one big battery. It's cells that make one big battery. Now, the batteries we're talking about for deep cycles are different. It's just one big battery, size of a 27 series or size of a 24 series. You can't just replace parts of it. You have to replace the whole thing. So it's different, but it's the same technology, lithium-ion. So I think, for the difference in the price, if you're going to keep your RV for a long time and you're going to use it regularly or you're a full-timer, the lithium-ion could be the way to go. And the other thing too is, even if you don't keep your RV for 10 years, let's say you kind of go through your RVs about every 5 years, but the thought of a lithium-ion makes a lot of sense to you. Well, you could take that battery out. And when you sell your RV, just put in a deep cycle battery. Go get yourself a AC Delco or an Interstate, put it in there. And that when you're selling it now, the RV has a brand new battery in it, which is pretty cool. Because if, you're selling an RV, you're not going to get the money out of your lithium-ion battery. It's just not going to happen. Now, if you just don't want to mess with it, or maybe you're not going to RV anymore, then just leave the battery in there, let it go with it, and call it a day. But you're not going to get your $1,000 back. A new battery, even though you paid $125, $150 for it, when you're selling your RV, it's probably worth about $25. Probably be the same with a lithium-ion battery, maybe worth $50 as far as that resale value goes when you're selling it in an RV. You can just take the battery out, put it in your new RV, replace, put another battery in, and away you go. So there's a lot of advantages to it. And, I think there's a place for them, or I believe there's a place for them, but there's still a place for lead acid battery. So if you have a lead acid battery, don't feel like you have to change because, hey, everybody else is going to lithium ion. All my neighbors have lithium ion. Don't look at it that way. It's the battery that works for you. Don't get caught up in this. And there is a difference. And if the money's the huge thing, and that right there can just be the showstopper for everybody. I don't want to spend that kind of money. But for me, if I was a full-time RVer, I'd go lithium-ion. If I used my RV all the time, I'd go lithium-ion. I have a Ford four-wheel drive truck that I use quite a bit, and I go overlanding, things like that. In it, I'm seriously considering lithium-ion because I don't have to worry about it. And it'd be nice to have. I mean, it's expensive. My truck is older, but it's in great shape. And so I'm looking at, that's a lot of money put into it. But, for the peace of mind, not having to worry about it, that's a way to go. That's just one application. Then in my trailer, my toy hauler trailer, I don't go out RVing as much as I'd like to. I don't know about the lithium ion for it. I don't worry about it as much because I know my limits, how long I'm going to go out for, if the lead acid will work. although I'm considering it because it just makes more sense. Put the batteries in, forget about it. And then if I sell my toy hauler trailer, I can just take those batteries out and put them in my new trailer. Or if I'm not using it that often, I don't have to worry about it. This panic about my batteries dying, going bad because they're lead acid batteries, always checking the water even though I'm not using it, things like that. And, the lithium batteries, lithium ions, anywhere you have an application for using deep cycle batteries, you can use it. So if it's a RV, it's your trailer, a utility trailer, a horse trailer, and you have a battery in there, like horse trailers. There's people that sometimes they go into show season, use their trailers quite a bit. They need to have that power. Lithium ion would be great for horse trailers. Marine applications. So for boats, you're out on the water, you can't just plug in anywhere. So having a dependable battery, I think, is a must have. So in a marine application, depending on what kind of boating you do, lithium ion would be the way to go. And it's lighter, which it makes a big difference on a boat. All the weight adds up pretty quick. If you're overlanding, if you own a overlanding vehicle, 4-wheel drive, anything where you're going out on dirt roads, camping out on dirt roads, whether it's 4-wheel drive type terrain or just, maintained roads, but you're out camping on those, or even vans. People use vans for, crossing the country, or they go to their destinations. Lithium ion would be great for those two applications. If you want to get off the grid, that'd be another great application, lithium ion. In fact, I'm going to do an episode about off the grid and ways you can do it in an RV and some of the awesome things there are to help you with that. Not only generators, but power stations, things like that. It's one of my episodes I've been kind of slowly working on. There's a lot of things happening right now. This COVID-19 has slowed down shipping from other countries. It has stopped product production, different types of products. Also, it's kind of, small businesses. They're not looking at expanding their inventory right now because they don't know what the outcome's going to be. In fact, we're reevaluating a lot of what we do. Energizer has this awesome power station they're coming out with. I've seen it. I know about it. And I want to carry them, but now I got to wait until this thing kind of plays itself out. But the Energizer power station is, one of the things I want to cover in a future episode for overlanding, things like that. And coming on or getting off the grid as well. So I kind of got sidetracked there. A lot of things are happening right now in the world that kind of affect what we do in our daily lives. And so we might have to wait 2-3 weeks, maybe a month to get past this COVID-19 and get back to a normal routine and with a normal cash flow again. But for some RVers, they're retired. Their money's coming in regardless of what happens in the world. They're going to still continue to maintain their RVs, fix them up, do things like that. And that's awesome. It kind of helps keeping the wheels of this one industry going. It helps a lot of people. There's all these different ways you can use a lithium ion battery. It's not just for RVs, so if you have other applications, think outside the box. A lot of RVers are into motorcycles. They're into ATVs. So they're out camping in the desert. A lot of RV owners own boats. So you got these multiple applications here. And, if you can't get a lithium ion battery, well, actually, let me say this first. If you can get one, I recommend Battleborn batteries. And of course, I recommend you call me first, before you call anybody else. We can ship them anywhere in the United States, and we have free shipping, and we keep our price as low as we possibly can. They have, pricing that they want us to stay at on the internet, things like that. And so we obey their rules because it keeps it very fair for everybody. But call me first if you need one of those batteries. I can ship it anywhere you want it to go in the lower 48 states. But if you can't or can't afford one, don't need one, and you're looking at lead acid batteries, I highly recommend the AC Delco RV Marine batteries, and same with Interstate. Both of them are a national warranty. Anywhere you go in the United States, you're going to be able to get it warranted. Everybody sells Interstate. Everybody sells AC Delco. And, if you're someplace where you can't find one, you just call them up and they'll help you out. They'll direct you. Both companies are easy to work with. In fact, AC Delco, I've been selling Interstate for, I don't know how many years. Decades. But I started AC Delco because I like their warranty. And we get their batteries a lot quicker too. They deliver to my area every other day. So that's pretty nice. But besides that, that's just for me. That doesn't help you. Just because I can get a battery every day doesn't mean anything to you. But they are a friendly company, and they have warranty centers all over the U.S., and they're a good battery and a good company. So either way you go, but I would go with AC Delco or Interstate. Try to avoid some of the really cheap batteries, the low-end batteries. I'm not going to name companies here, but there are some big companies, that cater to everybody, and they have cheap batteries or inexpensive no, they're cheap batteries and they're inexpensive, and they don't last. If they have a 1-year warranty, you're going to be replacing that battery in the 1 year for sure. You're not going to get out of the 1-year warranty in a lot of cases. And if you do, it's going to be a year and 1 day, that type of thing. Spend a little extra money when you buy batteries, regardless what it is, if it's lead acid or a lithium-ion battery. Now, I know I didn't get into all of the technology of lithium-ion, how it works, and all the little nuts and bolts of it. Because at the end of the day, most of you don't need to know about that. It's probably not even something you care about. Amp hours are what's important. The weight of the battery and the warranty. And of course, the cost of the battery is important. And, they can be hooked up. It's the same way your batteries are hooked up now, whether it's parallel or in series. You can do whatever you want to do with them as far as that goes. So that the science behind it, I don't think is as important as what you see. The 100 amp hours, 30 pounds, 10-year warranty. I hope this helps you with lithium-ion batteries. And yes, of course, I, always throw in my little pitch for, buying stuff from me, but I have to do that. I do this podcast and, well, heck, I don't get any money doing this podcast. No one's paying me. I'm not sponsored by, NBC or anybody. So if I can sell something here and there, it helps offset the cost, because every podcast does cost money. You don't pay for it, I pay for it. And I'm not complaining. I'm just rambling on. And like I said, I started this at 6 o'clock this morning. A lot of things happening in the world. Montana's on lockdown now. So, I'm just probably rambling at this point. Look into it. If you have a need, a desire, at least look into it just to see if it's something you could do today or if it's something you could do tomorrow. But have in the back of your mind, because they are out there. And so if someone says it to you, suggests it to you, at least you're a little more prepared to say, hey, that's a good idea. Or no, I've thought about it. That's not the road I want to go down. So as always, I appreciate everybody listening to the show. This is Eric Stark with Radio Arizona RV. Check us out online at radioarizonarv.com.